Double Pass is a Belgian football company that advises, assesses, and educates some of the world's leading football clubs.
Hi friends, welcome back to Prakhar Sports. I hope you all have checked my previous video. It was an interview with Mohammad Arif Khan. For those of you who have not checked the video or those who don't know who Mohammad Arif is, well, Mohammad Arif is an Indian skier and he comes from Jammu and Kashmir. He represented India at the Winter Olympics in 2022. He's also going to represent India again at Winter Games which will be held in Italy next year. So I had a detailed conversation with Mohammad Arif about his journey, about what is happening in winter sports, about his sport. So do check that video. And in this video today, we will be having a conversation with Sarthak Dubey, who is the founder of DPDL. Now, what is DPDL? Well, it is Double Pass Development League. It is a football league, grassroots football league based out of Bangalore. It also functions in Mumbai and Delhi as well. It promotes young kids, young boys and girls to play football, and it helps them to develop their skills. It helps coaches to scout young talent. So what is GPDL? How it is helping Indian football? We will all get to know in this conversation with Sarthak Dubey. So let's get right into the heart of this fascinating conversation with Sarthak. Okay, Sarthak. Thank you so much for joining for this interview. So, at the start of the interview, I would want to ask you, where did your passion for football come?
So me personally, like most urban children growing up, we follow the Premier League. I think from there my passion started. I think following Chelsea. Chelsea was my club. In the in the mid 2000s actually. So I used to follow them. That's where my passion first kicked in for football.
Mm.
But more specifically, I think as I started following the Premier League, I actually started. I wanted to find out what is there in India which is similar, right? So my connection to Indian football grew pretty rapidly after I started following the Premier League. So back in the day, we had the I League, which was the only main league that was there. So the team, I'm from Bangalore, so HAL used to be my club. HAL used to be a team in the I League in the mid 2000s. So my passion for the game actually started first from the watching Chelsea and then following HAL in the I League here in Indian football.
So, what is your first memory of the sport? Like first match that you watched on TV or first match that you watched in person going to the ground? What's your first memory of football?
First memory was Tottenham 4, Chelsea 4 in the year 2008 season, I think. That was my first match and I just fell in love with the sport there actually.
Drogba, it's come off the wall. Cheltenham ball not given, McAlady brings it down. Terry stayed up, ball gets played into the far post, Drogba's there! And Chelsea have taken the lead inside 3 minutes.
Tottenham 4, Chelsea 4. The scoreline itself tells you what kind of a game it was.
It would have
at
been
White Hart Lane. So yeah.
Okay.
It was a thriller, absolutely.
Okay, so I read that you had a job in Goldman Sachs but you quit that and you wanted to pursue something in football. Why take such a big leap of faith?
So, like I said, Indian football was my original passion. I really wanted to contribute to the game back at home and see if there's something that we can do to make sure that Indian footballers also get a chance to play abroad. What is it that I can do to be part of this? So, actually, my story is a little bit before Goldman Sachs is where it started. I used to work like you in a website called goal.com. If you remember back then, there was a football website called goal.com, and I started off over there. and post that I started basically coaching football as well. Like I did my coaching licenses. I'm a B licensed coach as well, an AFC B licensed coach. So back in 2013, I started doing my coaching badges. So while I was at Goldman Sachs, which was post college, I was along with Goldman Sachs. I was also coaching football part time in a football hotspot here in Bangalore called Austin Town. So I was coaching there, and I was working at Goldman Sachs as well. So I was pretty clear, like at Goldman Sachs, it's going to be a few years where the corporate experience and everything is there. But my passion was Indian football. So I quit my job maybe 2 years into Goldman Sachs, and I went to Liverpool at the University of Liverpool in England to study a course known as the MBA in Football Industries. So before diving into this full time, I basically wanted to just understand how the football business works, how the football market works, what is it that the Europeans and South Americans are doing so well. So I think that course gave a bit of a sneak peek into that, and that's how I quit Goldman.
Okay. So now coming to your child, that something that you have developed from ground up, Double Pass. So what is Double Pass Development League, if you could explain?
Right. So Double Pass is actually a Belgian-based football consulting company. We, as a company, they have been into the business of talent development for 2 decades now. So they work with the Premier League, with the Bundesliga, with the MLS, with the J League, multiple leagues around the world on talent optimization through football auditing. That's the work that Double Pass does. So back in 2018, I brought this business to India. And I've been leading this business in India, but in a different way. What Double Pass does around the world is football auditing and football assessment services. However, in India, the football market, especially back in 2017-18 when we got this here, the Indian football market is not ready for these services just yet. Many things, whether it's price sensitivity, whether it's the grassroots structure itself. So in Indian football, the need of the hour was actually to set up a strong grassroots and youth football ecosystem. That is the need of the hour. Unlike the European countries and the South Americans who are way more mature football markets than us. So over here, the baby, like you called it, the baby that we produced here was a league called the Double Pass Development League, with the focus being that we develop talent through competition. Skill acquisition for any player actually happens when they face an opponent. When they face, if whichever sport that you play, when you face an opponent is when you actually, your real skills come out. Sometimes you're tested in different ways, mentally, physically. You may be tested with various game situations. So that was the whole idea, that we bring the football schools, football academies, football clubs together of that city in Bangalore, and we make them play long format competition. Our kids don't get enough competitive game time. I think other than cricket and I think a few sports in India, other than cricket, the game time aspect at the grassroots level is lacking in almost every other sport, including football.
Yeah.
So that is the problem we try to solve. So the Double Pass Development League is a grassroots and youth football league, which in our words is a talent pathway where you can join at the age of under 7 and you have opportunities all the way till under 19 to play competitive matches over a long format period. And that's the league that we started.
Okay, so India.
Yeah.
So India is a tough terrain to have a grassroots development league, especially in football. But still, you pursued it and grew it up. So, but why were you so, like, if I use the word, hell-bent to have a grassroots development league in football in a country like India?
Like I said, the competition gap is the biggest problem, Prakhar, in Indian football. My thing is to make sure that we are filling that gap and giving more competitive game time to kids. And if we are able to do this, I'll give you a statistic, a comparison rather, not a statistic exactly, but roughly a child who is in the age bracket of maybe 6 to 10, right? 6 to 10 age bracket in South America, in a Europe, for example, countries like Belgium, Spain, England, the number of competitive games they get is in the range of 50 to 60 competitive games in a season, right? It's huge. You compare the same for a child in India, it is way lesser, right? They are either playing for their school, those knockout tournaments that happen once a year. Maybe they play a Subroto Cup here and there. They play grassroots leagues here and there, or they play friendlies. In many parts of the country, competitions don't even exist. So when you expect a 6 to 10 year old of our country who's only playing maybe 5 to 10 competitive matches in a season, where he's actually getting challenged to compete against when they reach 18, to compete against the top FIFA countries, there's going to be a world of difference in their development. So why I am hell bent upon this is I want to make sure that more game time is given to kids, so that they experience more game situations, they experience more matches, and they learn more and develop more, so that by the time they're 18, we may not be as good as an Argentina under 19 or under 18, but we will be able to compete hopefully in 10 years time or 15 years time.
Okay, so what have been your the kind of challenges that you have experienced when you started Double Pass, and in the initial years, what kind of challenges you encountered while the league was in its formative years?
um Challenges multifold. We will, for example, firstly convincing parents and changing the mentality of parents and coaches. That's the first challenge and the hurdle that we faced, where children, children are, parents only look at, especially in the urban cities, parents look at football academies or sport as something to keep the kids away from their tablets and their phones, right? So that's one thing. So they're already spending on that, and now you're convincing them that give us your weekend also. Saturday, Sundays ko hum matches rakhenge, and you have to come and drive the kids to this one. So that was the first hurdle, where coaches are using Saturday, Sundays only for training sessions, and parents want their weekend off. So changing that mentality, that listen, this is the reason why you should play competition in the first place. This is how it will help your child. This is, I mean, football as a team sport can teach you so much more than just winning and losing. I mean, there's so much more. Even if 99% will not make it as a professional footballer, but even that 1%, even that 99% will take some good learnings out of a 10-year football career in playing matches. So I mean, that was the mentality aspect was the first hurdle. And of course, India is a price sensitive market, so, and we are a pay to play league. So at the end of the day, convincing parents why they need to pay to play competition, and explaining to them, this is where we are, the money that we take, this is where we spend it. We spend it on venues, we spend it on referees, we spend it on the staff who's managing it, on social media, everything. So it took a bit of this one, but once people got the aspect and they picked it up, I think we have we haven't really looked back. It's been really good.
Okay, so how has DPDL grown since its inception? So now I guess it is in sixth or seventh year of its existence. So how has it grown?
Yeah. Yes, this is our 6th year. In 2019, we started this in Bangalore, and we had about 54 teams that took part that season, between under 7, under 9, under 11, under 14, under 16. The COVID period was where we had to, of course, like all other companies, like all other businesses, like all other sports entities, we had to shut down. And we waited for that one year and 4 month period, which was tough. Like the company was pretty much dismantled at that point. It was just me left. Everyone else had to go, because there is nothing, there is no competition that can happen. So in 2021 we came back with the league, and we did it with a smaller number, because parents were still hesitant to interact in gatherings. You remember how COVID was in the initial days. So 2021-22 season we returned, and 2022 season we expanded to Mumbai as well. So the model worked really well. People were enjoying the competition, and we just replicated it in Mumbai. So season 2022 was the first time we had 2 cities. Then in season 2024 is when we expanded to Delhi. So currently we are in 3 cities: Mumbai, Bangalore, and Delhi. and we are expand. So this year we are in that trajectory where we want to take this to more cities. So this year we are planning to start with Goa, Chennai, and Calcutta also.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so coming to the thing that is happening, which is also keeping you busy these days, Super League has kicked off. So, what is Super League and what are its some of its salient features and how?
Yeah. So this is the DPDL Super Cup, Prakhar. It's
Sorry,
called
sorry,
DPDL Super Cup.
Super Cup.
So, our league, like I explained to you, the long format competition that happens every year, we started around September, October, and it goes all the way till May, June of next year. So that's the regular season that happens. Now, the DPDL Super Cup is a curtain raiser event for us at the start of every season, where we bring the best teams from DPDL Mumbai, best teams from DPDL Bangalore, best from DPDL Delhi, and invitational teams from across the country. So they come to, it's like our in-house Champions League of sorts, where we
Sure.
get the best teams,
Okay.
and we also invite invitational teams from other parts of the country who want to play, and we put them in a intense, high performance kind of competitive environment for 10 days, 5 to 10 days, where people are playing. It's a short format competition, so here it's an opportunity for kids to experience different styles of football, because this year in the Super Cup we have teams coming from almost 10 states, if I'm not wrong, from Manipur, Meghalaya, Delhi, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, obviously, um, Delhi, I think I mentioned. So there are teams from all over the country that have come down. So our objective at Super Cup is like that first tournament of the year, where all the teams get to kickstart their season, play a variety styles of football in terms of competition, and also get a lot of game time. We give 6 matches per team minimum over here, so everyone goes home with 6 matches, and they get as much experience for the start of the season. So that's
Okay,
going
so
on right now.
okay, so how does DPDL aims to grow in coming years? You would have some goals set for DPDL next 2 to 3 years. Where does DPDL sees itself?
So my vision, Prakhar, for this is I want DPDL to become the strongest scouting network possible in the country. In the
Okay.
sense, we want to be taking this long format competition model to 50 plus cities in the country in the next, okay, obviously not possible in the next 2 to 3 years, but in the next, let's say, 15 years, or if we speak again in 10 years time, I want to
Sure.
make sure that DPDL is there in every major hotspot of the football hotspot of the country,
Sure.
50 plus cities, hopefully. And that is the aim, that in every city we replicate the model of long format competition. We give more and more game time to kids, and we track the performance of those kids. Like, we have data on their game time, we have data on their um on what is the number of midfielders that we are finding, the number of left footers that we are finding, the goalkeepers that we are finding, having and maintaining records and data of good talented players who are coming out from parts of the country which before did not get competition, right? And basically linking all of this together to the professional football ecosystem. So today the ISL clubs are also participating in our league, right? So in Mumbai City takes part, Reliance Foundation, Young Champs take part. In Bangalore, we have Bengaluru FC that takes part. In the Super Cup, Chennai FC had flown down last year as well. Um, in Delhi, in Delhi, the top teams, Baichung Bhutia, Conscient Football, all of these clubs are taking part there. So basically, building a good, strong scouting network where people are able to access players, people are able to access the performance of players over a long period. Usually what people do is, in football there are trials. The system is of trials. Up trial doge, and then if you're good, you get selected. But
Yeah.
the what is wrong with the trial system, in my opinion, of course trials works for a lot of people. In my opinion, that one player, if he's having a bad day on that day, that does not make him a bad player. He
Agreed.
You have to probably give them 10 games, 15 games to see them perform over a period of time. And that's why competition, the long format competition, is what I value, where scouts should come, take that data of a player of 15 matches, and then they should be able to make a decision on them. So connecting the grassroots to the professional football ecosystem, that's our objective.
Okay, so I read something very interesting on your LinkedIn profile that you worked on FIFA's special projects in multiple countries, and one of the countries that came to my notice was South Korea. And now we all know South Korea are one of the best performing Asian teams in football, world football. They almost are top performers in every edition of the World Cup. So I want to know what are South Koreans doing right so that they are flourishing in world football.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll explain. The FIFA project that I was part
Mhm,
of, which was part of
mhm,
Double Pass,
mhm.
it's called the FIFA Talent Development Project, which was started back in 2020-21 season. During the COVID period is when this was started. It
Okay.
was to bridge the. It was FIFA's objective was to analyze every member association and see what are the gaps, and how can we bridge the same thing. How can we bridge the gap between the developed football markets and the underdeveloped ones? So one of the countries given to me was South Korea.
Mhm,
um, and as part of the project, we had three academies which were chosen by the federation, the Korean Football
mhm,
FA, the
mhm,
KFA, and they had submitted those to FIFA that these need to be analyzed. So my objective was to audit those three academies. So I was part of the
mhm,
audit and
mhm,
analysis process of that.
mhm.
What I remember is the Korean system was just a very well structured system. You know,
Okay.
the from grassroots to youth, especially for the men's side. The women's
Mhm,
side, I still remember we were given two academies for boys and one for girls. The girls were still, I would say, slightly developed in that way. Like it was unstructured, but the men's structure was very professional. From the boys, the grassroots ages to the youth systems to the first team, there was a very strong connection between all of it. And for example, there were coaches in the academy training the style of football that the first team is training already. So
okay.
they were building players, they were building profiles for the first team.
Mhm,
So with the Koreans, I think because of that structure, it takes a lot of time to build a structure like that.
mhm,
And it takes a good vision of the federation and the league.
mhm,
So I think the Koreans did that really well, where they were connecting their first teams to the grassroots system very well.
mhm,
And apart from that, all of the standards that we see in European football, we were checking India against what the can
mhm.
have. The Koreans seem to have pretty much most of it. They replicate what the Europeans do.
Okay.
Their intensity of training is very similar to what the Europeans do, and that's why
Okay.
you see the players that are coming from there adapt very well in a Bundesliga or in a Premier League.
In Premier League, in European, they are in high demand in Europe's top five leagues. Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
yes. So
So those
so.
connections
Mm,
built was, I think, what stood
mm.
out for me.
Okay. If I were to
Yes.
ask you three pointers, how can India improve in football? Three pointers. What would those be?
Increasing game time.
Okay.
The first one, increasing
Mm,
game time first, and increasing the opportunities for game time.
mm,
That is the number one thing of DPDL. Make sure more and more kids get the opportunity to play, and
mm,
and get more and more opportunities rather than just those trials, right? So
mm,
long format competition, more game time.
mm,
Um, the second, I think, would be working on working a better system for our coach education system.
mm.
Um, our coach education today is has been revamped. I was part of the old system that was till about 2019. I was coaching, and then once I started the league, I had to move out of it.
Okay.
But up until 2019, what I saw was,
Mm,
and I've done my licenses in the UK as well. So there
okay.
was a clear difference in the way they approach coach education versus here. It
Yeah.
was slightly more academic, slightly more. Of course, there are practical sessions, but it was a little bit old school over here. So
Mm,
maybe
mm,
developing a slightly modern coach education system and bringing more and more coaches into the game,
mm,
because a good coach is ultimately going to make a good player.
mm,
So more competition, more better coaches,
mm,
and I think more I think better support from the state associations,
mm,
better support from local district football associations to the private sector to enter. and to invest in football.
Hmm.
I would say these three.
Okay. To wrap up this conversation, final two questions. Beyond football, what can be done to make India a better sporting nation? Football is one of the multiple sports that are played in India. How can India improve as a sporting nation with your experience when working in multiple countries? India is still not considered as a sporting powerhouse. We are trying to do that,
Absolutely.
but still not achieve those benchmarks. But what can be done to for India to become a better sporting country?
I would say, like how the Australians do it. I mean, they really love sports. Here we love cricket,
Yeah,
we love football in parts.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think really from the grassroots level, from the school levels, kids have to see, parents have to actually see an opportunity in sports.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, that's where I think it's lacking. A lot of
Hmm.
our parents from our, let's say, age group would not support sports, because they don't really see a career in it. But I think now that is changing. Cricket, there's an amazing career possible if you
Hmm.
if you make it at the top level. Football
Hmm.
as well, if you're able to make it. Some of the
Hmm.
Olympic sports, if you
Hmm.
make it, there's a great opportunity there. So I
Hmm.
think that trend is changing.
Hmm.
But for India to be a better sporting nation, I think kids compulsorily have to play sports, like multiple sports. even
Yes.
even the kids we work with in
Hmm.
football,
Hmm.
like what we always advise is till the age of 12, 13, multiple sports need to be played so that you improve your critical decision making skills. Okay, so yeah, just basically playing multiple sports and
Hmm.
multiple disciplines, they just help you become a better athlete in terms of decision making. The cricket might teach you something, a football might teach you something else, might a chess might give you another thing, or swimming
Hmm.
might give you something else.
Hmm.
Playing multiple sports just makes you a better athlete and a better, healthier human, I think. So
Hmm.
yeah, I would say for India to become a better sporting nation, everyone needs to play more sports. Everyone,
Hmm.
from the school level till the adults.
Hmm. Okay. Finally, any message for young girls and boys who want to play football, who dream of having a career in football? So, any message from person who has started DPDL?
Uh, just one word. What comes to my mind is
Yeah.
resilience. I think
Okay.
the ha- having the mental resilience to survive the long game
Hmm.
is what can take, not just in football, in any
Hmm.
sport, in
Hmm.
in any sport. If you have that mental resilience of going through what it feels like to be benched,
Hmm.
and then still coming back, having the
Hmm.
resilience that okay, you should know even when you're 2-0 down in a semi-final how to climb out of it, and still have the belief. Little things, but resilience. I think if everyone has that mental resilience,
Hmm.
and the love for the sport, I think they will make it. That's my motto, at least.
Okay. Thank you, Sarthak. Thank you so much for this enlightening conversation. I wish DPDL grows leaps and bounds, and the current ongoing Super Cup, gets a lot of attraction. Lot many kids come out of it, and DPDL achieves its success of scouting young boys and girls so that they go on to represent India at the international stage. So thank you so much for this really enlightening and insightful conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prakhar, for the
Yeah.
opportunity. Like I said, if where do you stay, by the way? Which part of the country are you from?
Navi Mumbai.
Oh, you're in Mumbai. Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, please do visit our league in Mumbai. When we start the next edition, I think
Yes,
I'll probably get in touch with you from Ansh, and we'd love to
sure.
host you and come and see how the matches are done there. I think
Yes,
you'll a lot of stories. You'll get a lot of stories and a lot of
yes,
uh, you know good things that are happening there. Stories of
yes.
players who are dreaming to make it. I think it's
Not
it's a
only
great
players and coaches also. Coaches also play a
coaches
very
as well. Yeah,
important part in shaping a player's
yeah,
life and how the player succeeds. So yes, I will definitely. And being a hardcore football fan as well, I would love to see young kids
absolutely,
playing football, kicking football. So and
absolutely.
enjoying their time in the football. Thank you so much, Arthur. Thank you so much.
Great, great, Prakhar. Thank you,
Okay,
thank you. See you
bye,
soon.
bye, bye,
See you
bye,
soon.
Thank you,
Thank you,
bye.
Sarthak. Thank you, Prakhar.
thank you,
Thank you.
thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Guru.
So that was my conversation with Sarthak Dubey. I hope you have understood what DPDL Double Pass Development League is. I hope you all have learned what is happening in DPDL, how DPDL is promoting football at grassroots level. If you have liked this video, if you have learned something about Indian football, please check what DPDL is doing and also follow my channel, subscribe to it, leave comments and give me feedback about how you are finding my conversations with people from sports. So far, I have brought you conversations from people in volleyball. I've brought you conversation from people in football. And football, I've done two interviews now. I've also covered winter sports, the conversation with Arif Khan, and how you have liked all these conversations. I've also covered volleyball, the conversation with Abhijit Bhattacharya, who has started Brahmaputra Volleyball League. So how are you all finding this my initiative of mine, bringing the voices, the lesser known stories of Indian sports? Please do give me a feedback in the comment section below and follow my channel for more such insightful and interesting conversations.